We are live. Hello, everyone. So I'm a couple of minutes early again because, as you'll gather, you've got an entirely different angle again of the living room. I'm going to bore you and say why. I'm not sure if any of that actually recorded. Hello again. Thank you for being here, wherever you are, whoever you are. Whether you're doing this live or you're watching back in your own time, thank you very much. So I have come live a little bit early, not quite as early as yesterday, but as you can see, slightly different angle of the old living room again. I'm super laggy today. Have we crashed? What's going on here? Looks like... Let's get rid of some of these. As I think that might be doing it. Try to come live to be nice and organized. And so if you're hogging the Wi-Fi. All right. Okay. I think we're working now. Whoever you are, I know there was one or two people there who stayed throughout all of that chaos. You may have been able to see me looking really vacant and trying to figure out what the hell's going on my laptop. We seem to be okay now. I thought I'd be organized and get online early again because, as you can see, got an entirely different camera angle again. Without boring the life out of you guys, we're doing a bit of refurbishing to some furniture that we managed to pick up for our house recently, and hence you being on the floor. So I wanted to get the camera angles in, tried to go live early, and I don't know if me being with my confused faces and looking all kinds of confused was filmed for the last 5 minutes, but here we are now anyway. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes just to settle in because I know the stream was probably jibbing out a little bit. Let me just reply to this. Okay, 4 of you guys now. That's better. Okay, how is everyone doing today? I hope we're all feeling good. Whether you did yesterday's session or not, I hope you're not feeling too tender. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm feeling a little bit sore today. A little bit sore after yesterday's antics. And Craig, you're here. Thank you, my man. Yes, so as always, we'll start off with some mobility work anyway. Regardless of whether you did yesterday's session or not, we still be doing that. Got a few different things to play around with again. I'm continually looking for new things for us to play around with, whether you're doing this as a back catalogue or not. I don't want it to just be repetitive, similar sessions each time. I want us to focus on a bit of, not necessarily skill work, but a few things that hopefully you can carry over into your training when we are back in the gym as well. So just make these classes as beneficial as possible for you. But for the equipment list today, I say equipment, the household things that we're using as equipment, we need our trusty broomstick, and we also need the old sofa again, please, or something to that effect. It can be a sofa, it can be anything that's around. I say knee-height tops today, because we are going to play around with some core work off of the sofa today with a Chinese plank, which is a thing, I promise you. Yes, so 2 different blocks today. Block number 1, we are doing a bit of kind of more strength and technique focus work, working to reps. And then, so we've got 3 exercises working to reps or rep brackets. As soon as we've done that, we then got 30 seconds flat out on more of a pulse raising exercise. We're going to do that for 5 or so rounds, see how we get on, and then we're finishing off with a nice, tasty bit of core work today. So I hope all feeling good, as already mentioned. Got 3 of you guys here. Whoever you are, wherever you are, thank you for being here. It means a lot. If you can comment on the live chat, Craig, thank you for commenting already. Please do. Love to interact with you guys. Love to know how you're all feeling and where you're at and what you're doing. Hope your days and your weeks are going well. And we'll look to make a start in just a second because there was all that faffing around with the internet being a bit of a diva. Jackie's here as well. Hello, Jackie. I hope you're feeling good today. I'm just going to get this out of the way now. Basically, you may have seen in the video description link, I've now set up a PayPal link for basically any donations towards attending these classes, whether you're doing them live or in your own time, will be super appreciated. It is a donation. I know that I hate that because it makes me sound like a charity, but everything that's going on at the moment with the coronavirus lockdown, I'm not going to bore you with me being self-employed and stuff like that. It's all hitting us hard, so you don't have to pay anything. We talk about it anymore. So with today, what we're going to do is we're going to run through a nice mobility flow. As already mentioned, I'm feeling a little bit tense today. Probably my own fault because yesterday I actually ended up doing way more than I probably should have done and way more than I've done in a while. Before I did the class, I did my own training session, did the class, which was pretty intense in itself, then went out for like a really long walk and got all excited. And I've got a really cool setup with a bit of space on one of my walks where I can do sprints. And I ended up doing sprints, and then I ran back home for the last like mile and a half as well. So a little bit of an idiot and did way too much yesterday. So I'm feeling a bit creaky. So yes, just rambled for the last 5 minutes. You guys are still here, so that's what's important. You've put up with my rambles. You all know that I ramble. And now I'm rambling about rambling, so that's good, isn't it? Let's make a start with some mobility work, shall we? We are going to start off on the floor, so take a seat. We're going to work around the hips to begin with. What I'd like us to do is run through some hip rotations. So feet at a shoulder width. From here, let them relax over to one side. So you've got about 2 90-degree angles on your legs. Bit of space between the foot and the knee if you've got here. The hands with this movement, they can just flow wherever they want to go, but they're not really looking to be a part of the movement, just there for support. We're going to come up onto the foot and then over and switch. And just flow with that for us. Just looking to get an initial bit of movement and rotation through the ball and socket of the hips. Number 4, whoever you are, don't leave me for pointing out that you've just come in and you haven't really missed anything. Well, this is the first exercise of our warm-up drill. Find yourself a bit of floor space and hip rotations. 90-90 position and starting position, up, over, and switch. Let's get another 2 of those per side, and we're going to have a nice bit of progression around the hips from here. What I want you to do is let's get the best angle in here for this. Let the legs relax into this starting position. So naturally your torso will be pointing kind of forward from where your hips are. What I'd like you to do, center of your rib cage, the center line of your body, I want you to line that up with the front knee. So over that front knee. Top of the head to the ceiling, ribs down a touch. Now locked into that position. And I want you to think about moving over the top of the knee just through the hip. So depending on where you're at, for me, I'm feeling that quite a lot, a nice tasty stretch in the outer side of my left hip into my glute. Ever so briefly hold that, then move back, bring your hands behind you, actively press your legs into the floor and lean back away. And with that, you're going to feel that, expect a bit more down the inner side of the groin on your right leg. Come back into the center and repeat. We'll do 3 or 4 of these just to feel it out. And back out through. Push your legs down and lean back away. Over the top, just a real nice hip opening sequence to begin with. Whatever you've been doing, always good to get everything open around those areas. 1 more this side. Just ease into that stretch, focus on steady breathing as you go through. Think an upright torso the whole way through this. As you lean away, push your legs into the floor. Good. And then go into a rotation and let's switch over sides. Exactly the same principle. Start off by lining yourself up, center of your body over the knee. Stay nice and upright. Hinge over the top. Find that stretch through the glute. Come back out. Stay upright with the torso, hands behind you. Push your legs into the floor and lean away. And then repeat. I was watching back some of my videos earlier on. It's not because I'm weird. I don't ever usually watch these lives back because there's probably numerous ridiculous things that I do and say throughout the sessions, which you guys are all used to by now. But I put a post up from a section of yesterday's class because I really like the sequence itself, just as a bit of a standalone session. And like I've noticed that you can't hear the music at all, really. Number 5, whoever you are, we're just doing the warm-up. You haven't missed much, so just jump in. Thank you for being here. I'm calling you number 5 because I can't see who you are because YouTube doesn't do that. And you've left immediately. How very upsetting. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is I'd like you to progress into a nice half kneeling position. So 2 90-degree angles. I want you to have your hand in the space next to the foot. Hand on top of the front knee, back leg, straighten off to begin with. Then from here, just bend lightly through that back knee to sink into the stretch and think about tucking your tailbone underneath. From this position, what I'd like us to do, get a nice steady breathing pattern and then just explore within the hips. So keep your tailbone tucked underneath and imagine you've got a pen from the center of your pelvis. You're just looking at drawing little circles, little figures of 8s, nice controlled movement. Good, so let the knee touch the floor. So back into that original starting position, elbow comes inside the knee now. We'll need to drop that down towards the heel and then come up, out and extend through. Go as low as you feel comfortable. We're going to get a bit of a stretch through the back here. You may get it through the inner groin or through the hamstring on the back of the leg. Everyone's different. There's no wrong or right with where you feel any of these drills. I'm just stabbing a guess as to where most people tend to feel it. One more of these, then we'll switch over sides, exactly the same on the opposite side. Half kneeling to begin with. Hand on top of the knee. Opposite hand in the space. Back out from here. So legs straight to begin with. Then bend the knee, drop into that stretch. Then tuck your tailbone underneath, eyes forward, and then let's fill this space out. Number 5, you're back. I thought I scared you off. I pointed out the fact that a 5th person had joined and immediately dropped down to 4. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. Again, circles, little figures of 8, just feeling that space out. Let the back knee touch the floor. Elbow inside the knee for us again. Drop the elbow towards the heel. Up, out, and extend. Down, up, out, extend. Good. From here, let's just work a little bit more through the back. I want you to go into an all 4 position, knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Imagine you've got a cable coming from your belly button that's just being pulled into the floor. So you go into a nice extended position through the lower back. Then pull your shoulders away from your ears. Bring your head up and eyes forward. So from this position, what I'd like us to think about doing, shoulders locked to begin with, squeeze in your bum, push your hips forward. So push your tailbone underneath. And from there, travel up through the back. Push your shoulder blades apart and up. And draw your chin to your chest. Then from here, keeping the back position fixed, lead by drawing the chin up and bringing the eyes forward again. And pull the shoulders away from the ears and go back into that starting position. So imagine that cable's being pulled back down towards the floor. And same again, squeeze your bum, draw up through, push your hands into the floor, scoop and elevate shoulders, draw chin to chest. Head comes up, nice slow controlled movement, just focus on feeling any areas or main areas of tension through the back. And just looking at gradually stimulating that more and more as you go through. Just keep running through that sequence. Down through, shoulder blades into back pockets again, belly button down towards the floor. One more time through, glutes underneath, out through, chest. Back down. Just to finish off with today's mobility work, 6 people. Hello, whoever you are, number 6. Thank you for being here. If you can comment on the live chat when we're done with this, let me know who you are. Be awesome to hear from you. So, lay face into the floor. What I want you to do from here, one arm out to the side, doesn't matter which one you start on. Think wrist, bicep, and shoulder all in towards the ground. From here, the opposite arm's in as if you're doing a press up. Make sure you've got a bit of space around you more than I have. Well, I'm going to make do. Because what we're going to do from here is keeping the arm pinned in. You're going to push away through the resting side arm, encourage the shoulder open, keep that pressure actively on just as much as you need, then ease off. Ooh, get away from your broomstick. Arm out to the side and switch. Back in, arm out, switch. Take wrist, bicep, and shoulder, that all stays pinned in, and push away. It's going to be a beautiful stretch just to open up through the front of your upper body. So you can feel this all the way from sort of like the bicep and elbow area up to the front of the shoulder into the chest. If you're not feeling much going on with it, explore with the angles. So if you started with the arm in line with the shoulder, like I mentioned, just take the hand a touch further up. The arm still stays straight, just at a slight higher angle up. Then push away from there, and I expect you to feel a fair bit more going on. For me, that gets into my chest a lot more as a lovely stretch. Do about 3 or 4 of these per side, just exploring with the angles as you go through. Cool. Then from here, let's just finish off with a bit of load through the wrists. So kind of an all-4 position again. Fingers nice and spread out. Arms straight, get a bit of rotation through the arms. So pull the elbows around and back out. Those who've just jumped in, we've got 2 different setups today, entirely different setups. First one's a bit more strength and kind of a little bit technique work as well, just mildly. And we're not doing it to time blocks, we're just focusing on rep structures. With this now, with the wrist, I'm going to go back into a bit more mobility work, peel the hands off the floor and just walk around. Don't force this. I just want you to gradually go to a position just where you feel as far as comfortable, getting a nice stretch through the wrists and the forearms, then gradually ease back round. But yes, so with the first one, we're going to do sort of like rep brackets. So working to rep brackets on 3 exercises. Coming off of you need a sofa or a knee height surface that you can sit on and use as a nice stable position to work from. Let's get 1 more of these. Multitasking's going all right, actually. And then from there, we're going to do 30 seconds flat out on a bit more of a faster kind of pulse raising activity. Ease your wrists off there. Just go into some light circles. Let everything flow around, because we are going to be putting a little bit of pressure through the wrist today, as always. Cool. All right. How are we doing? How's everyone? I know we've got Craig and Jackie. If you jumped in, you can comment on the live chat. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're at. It'd be great to hear from you guys. So, first exercise I'm going to start talking through now. Taking some water while I'm doing this, catch your breath, do whatever you want to do, put the kettle on, play with a cat, play with a dog, do whatever you want, as long as you're watching. That's the key. So, what we're going to do is, first 2 exercises, you need to be sat on your sofa/chair. A sofa or a chair will be best with this for sure. What I want you to do is take your feet out to a nice wide stance, so maybe just a bit wider than shoulder width, okay? And then I want your stick on your upper back. So from this position, I want you to think about actively pulling your stick down and then ribs. Okay, so instead of being naturally, we go into extension here, the ribs pull down, and then from this position, we're going to go into essentially a hip hinge, a seated good morning. So on all the movement through the hips, keeping the upper back set, go as far as you can, getting a nice big stretch. Then think about, imagine you're pushing your hips back forward and return to starting position. Hinge, 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 push up. Okay. So let me see if I can get a bit more of a side on. I'm going to get one leg out of the way. Let's see how this goes. Essentially what I'm doing is all the movement is being initiated from the hip. That's giving me a gnarly stretch on my hamstring, having one foot elevated, and then back up from there. Okay, let's try that again without there being quite as much tension on my hamstring. Everything with the back stays locked into place. Hinge over. We may feel a nice big stretch through the adductors, and back up from there. Essentially, this movement. Okay, so core's tight, hip hinge as far as you can without the back coming unset, then back up from there. We're going to do 8 to 10 of those. And then pretty much from the exact same stance, I want you to think about pinning your feet to the floor, taking your hands out to the end of the stick, and then pressing the stick up overhead. Have the stick, you want to feel it that it's gone over the back of the head, where you've got your crown of your head, a nice little spirally bit, those on the top of your head. That can be a real pain in the ass for some people when they're styling their hair. It's not good, is it, guys? And what I want you to do from this position, brace your core, press up into an overhead box squat. So hips all the way forward, then control down, keeping the arms locked into the same position. Again, I'll try and get a bit of a side on one. So the stick is staying over the crown of my head area or directly over my shoulders. And then I'm going to stand up tall from here and then control back down. We need a touch and then go. Look to keep the stick set in the same position the whole way through. 8 to 10 of those, please. From here, we're going to go into a straight arm position with our feet elevated. So hands directly underneath shoulders, feet to a similar width. And I want you to go into a straight arm pike press. So what we're doing is we're drawing and scooping the shoulders up towards the ears as you press up, and then pulling the hips up as well, and then come back down from there. Do 8 to 10 of those as well. Once we've ticked those off, what we're going to do is, it's warm in it already, we're going to go into an all four position. And from this position, this is going to be our more pulse raising exercise. I want you to hop your hips, your legs forward. So that's the first part of the movement. Just go as far as you feel comfortable, then stand up, then back down into all fours again. Stand up, back out. Stand up, back out. You can let the legs touch the floor, the knees touch the floor in between reps of this if you want to. If you want to keep the intensity on and keep the intensity up, keep the knees hovering. So your knees are off the floor in that all four position. And you're planting through your feet. Pop the feet forward, stand up. Feet forward, stand up. It's almost like, because everyone hates burpees, like a regress burpee, but without a jump. It's going to be a lovely little hip opener again. So to recap, 8 to 10 reps on all of these first three exercises. You're going to take a seat, nice wide stance, stick on your upper back, think elbows pulled down, creating tension, ribs down for core tight, hinge over the top, drive up, hinge over, drive up. This will be a nice stretch on the lower back for some of you, I expect. Feet into a nice stable stance, similar width. Pin the feet actively to the ground a bit more. Hands right towards the end of your broomstick, over the crown of your head, core tight, stand tall, legs straight, control down. So think squat, touch, go. Keep that stability overhead. Think the arms stay fixed in that line. Once you've done that, pike press steps, straight arm position, legs fully extended. As you draw the hips up, think elevate and shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and retract as you come in. 8 to 10 of those. So essentially the movement that I'm doing is a push up through the shoulders and back and in. and come back down. Up, back and in, and down. Okay. After that, 4-point position, feet forward, up tall. There's work to arrange that you can get to. You don't need to have your feet right next to your hands. Okay. We want feet flat, so you're planted, then stand still. 30 seconds of that. We'll then have 30 seconds rest, and we'll repeat. Give me your favorite emojis, gang. If you can, talk to me. I'm not being rude. Let's see if anyone else has commented. Apparently, some of you guys are having issues with YouTube. I do apologize if you are. Yeah, favorite emojis. Let me know where we're at. Let me know that you are all good on the live chat. Mainly Jackie and Craig today. But 8 to 10. I'll take that as you're looking forward to, yeah? 8 to 10, seated good mornings. 8 to 10, essentially like box overhead squats. And then 8 to 10 stiff arm pike push-ups with your feet elevated on the chair or sofa. And then 30 seconds flat out. Straight after that in our, what's the word I'm looking for? Those kind of 4-point regressed burpee-ish movements that aren't burpees. 4-point burpee, not burpees, we'll call them. Or just 4-point not burpees. Craig, we all good? Are you still battling with opening the window, my man? I'm going to do the same, actually. I'm going to do the same real quick. Just while you guys are getting settled. So make sure you've got your sofa or your chair or whatever. Make sure it's nice and sturdy and it's not going to run off, especially as you're bringing your feet onto it. And we'll make a start in a second. Craig is all good. Sweet. All right. Let's have timer at the ready. So, of course, we are essentially working to our own pace here, but look to stay with me on this one. So then that way, when we come to doing the 30 seconds from the 4-point not burpees, we'll all be on the same, in the same position. Okay, so if you find your starting position, have a seat, feet set out a bit wider than shoulder width, knees and feet in line, feet actively pinned into the floor already. Almost think your squat stance. Okay, let's have your stick on your upper back like so. So we're not on the neck, on the shelf of the upper trap. So if you come just down from your neck, you find a nice shelf that you can create there by pulling the stick down. Think with this, ribs pulled down as well, and then we hinge. Okay, don't start yet. I'm going to count you guys down from 5 and we'll get going. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Up and back up. Look to keep your torso nice and upright. Big stretch, drive up. Main area you may feel this to begin with is through the lower back, but think all the movement is coming from the hips. The back stays locked into position, okay? We're going to get one more here for 8. Once you've done that, hands come right out towards the end of your broomstick. Push the stick up overhead. So think the stick should still be directly above the shoulders themselves. Push the head forward a touch, core tight, power up into that overhead squat position. Touch and go. Repeat. Keep the arms stable. I've done 5. I'm going to do another 3.